Hello everyone, welcome to the Angular Story series. In this episode, you will learn about component types. Components can be seen or used in several ways. When designing your Angular app, you need to design your components as well by choosing between a smart component or a presentation component. To understand this design pattern, let's start with a use case study. Here is a web app to watch movies online. This page is the home component. The trending movies block is the movies list component, and the small cards represent the movie component. The home component contains some components, but what we are more interested in here is the movies list component. This one contains the movie component list we looked through thanks to the ng4 directive. And finally, the movie component is just a classic HTML card with the name of the movie, its rating, its poster, etc. Alright, the home component interacts with the movies service to get the list of movies, data. This data are then passed to the movies list component. This one loops through the list and passes each element of the list, each movie details, to the movie component that finally displays the card with these details. The home component here is a smart component. The movies list component and the movie component are presentational or dumb components. Presentation component do not know the current use case. They receive data via inputs, display it in a specific way, and issue events via outputs. Help to implement use cases and hence they are reusable. Does not know where the data comes from. Its responsibility is purely to present and render data. We don't inject service into it, it doesn't fetch data. An example can be a component that displays a movie card with a poster, name, and rating of the movie as we see in the example. Smart component is a use case specific component. Its responsibility is to interact with the service layer to retrieve data. In the use case, the home component interacts with the movie service. After getting data, the smart component passes it to the presentational component, movies list component. This is done through the input decorator. It receives events from the child presentational component through the output decorator and reacts to the event, but it does not know what has triggered the event. Do you ask why all this? One of the most important reasons or advantages of this design pattern is that it respects the single responsibility principle, which creates clear scoped responsibilities that helps to avoid tight dependencies between different places in the app. It's easy to test small pieces with one responsibility, and this enhances reusability and avoids code duplication. All this will reduce complexity and unnecessary code with the app growing, which also reduces active observables as only smart components subscribe to them, and as presentation components only need to get updated when their input data changes. We can enable the on-push change detection strategy, and all this enhances performance and creates a maintainable app you'd be proud of. If the on-push strategy is something new to you, no worries, you will get to know more about it in the upcoming change detection episodes. What you need to keep in mind is that smart versus presentation components is a mindset to adopt, some helpful questions to ask would be, would this presentation logic be useful and repetitive elsewhere in the application? Would it be useful to split things here? Is the single responsibility principle respected? Splitting this component up further into a smart and a presentation component might not be always necessary. It's not a rule we apply everywhere. We could have a small component that is both aware of a service and presents some data. It's usually the case for small, really small components. In real life, you can have a deep tree of components. Passing each time data through the input decorator is not pertinent and efficient here. So, other ways exist to prevent this, such as using shared services or a store to communicate between components. As the app grows, the code grows too, and continuous refactoring is essential. This is easy thanks to the Angular CLI tool, and that's what we'll see in the next episode. Our episode ends here. Thank you so much for being here, and see you in the next episode of the Angular Stories. Till then, keep learning and stay tuned. If you like the video, please subscribe to the Web Stories channel, hit like and enable notifications to get notified whenever an episode is out.